Love it.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to Coffee Time Career Chat. I am your host, Patricia Hayes, and I'm so excited to be here. We're just having a little laugh at myself because, I've already been complaining about me and my tech this morning, and I literally clicked reaction instead of record. So that's how we're going with the flow today. I am super excited that that I've been hosting some of my great business colleagues and friends from around the country and the world to have some chats just about what we're doing as far as our businesses and our careers, as well as, how we met and how important and what's the role of building relationships in our businesses and our careers. And today I am so excited to have with me Natalie Hurdley, who is one of my from around the world friends. And I'm going to make sure that she gets a chance to tell her a little bit about herself, and how we've met. But I'm so excited to have you here, Natalie. How are you doing?
I'm very good, and I'm so excited to be here. So, as I said earlier, thank you for the opportunity to come and speak.
Absolutely. So I'm sure folks will be like, wait, is that a little accent I hear? So tell us more about you and your business, and then we'll talk more about all things, relationship building and networking, because that's how we met.
It is. So I'm Natalie. I am a virtual personal trainer, and I am based in the UK, in a tiny place called Shropshire in the UK. So anybody who knows the UK, in the middle, right by Wales, kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's lovely here. And networking has just opened my world up so much, and my business has exploded because of networking.
Yes. So tell me, how have you, and let's talk a little bit about that, because I know that you were saying how your business exploded, in the middle of the pandemic, because you had to switch from being, the personal trainer, because you did work in person, right? You were doing more things
face to face.
Yeah, face to face. So tell me a little bit about what that looked like for you, having to do that hard pivot with your work.
My whole business was face to face, and I'd been running it for 15 years nearly when the gym shut down. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. No idea what I'm going to do. And our gyms were shut for a long time here, all over. So I had networked before in person, and I enjoyed networking, but I never got anything from it. And it wasn't until everything went online, and I was like, well, I'm not as busy now because obviously I'm not running my business as I was. So I've got all this spare time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to network online, and I'm going to try and learn as much as I can about online, about business, about networking. And I'm just going to try and grow my network. So when the gyms reopen, I feel like I've done something, and I've got a bigger network, if nothing else. And then when I started networking online, that was my intention. My intention was to go get to know people, expand my network, and learn about the online business space. I started to get business come through from all over the world.
Yes.
And I stopped and I thought about it, and I was like, why didn't in-person networking work for me? And it was really simple. I wasn't consistent. And because I wasn't consistent, I wasn't able to build a relationship with anybody. And the reason I wasn't consistent in person was because I had to factor in travel time. I had to factor in the cost of traveling, which also meant time away from the gym, where online I could go, I've got a gap in between clients, click, 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 done.
Yes.
So I was able to be consistent online. And I pretty much am certain that was the difference.
That's so fascinating. That is so rich. I just want to let everybody know I did not pay Natalie to say what she just said.
You didn't know that.
Anyone who follows me knows I'm like, yes, let's talk about networking consistency and how valuable it is. So Natalie, I'll have to send you a little goodie, across the waters there, because it's so important. That is literally one of the things that I stress heavily. I mean, I literally even have a challenge that is built around helping people to be more consistent, because it's that whole start stop thing. And you and I both know, I mean, hello, our worlds were turned upside down and we're like doing these hard pivots and we're like, how do we move forward? How can we still move forward? And there we are. And it's like still trying to make sure that we connect with people. And I love this because I now literally have legit friends all around the world because of all of this networking virtually. And it's just so powerful. Tell us a little bit more about how this helped with your business. And so that then when you were thinking, oh, I'm only going to do this until I can get back to the gym. And instead you've got an online virtual business. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So over here, people who were online, it was in their house. That's what it was, because the gyms were shut. Then when we had good weather, sometimes it would be in their garden, sometimes it would be in the park. That was it. And then I had a client who's in California. And I said to her, that's great. Can you please send me over what equipment you've got and what space you've got at your house? And she was like, oh, no, I've got a gym membership. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? And she went, I'm going to take you to the gym with me. And I was like,
wow,
okay, I'm just going to go with this because she seems really confident. I'm just going to go with it. And she took me to the gym. And so what happens now is my clients take me to the gym with them live on Zoom. They've got their earpods in. They prop me against their water bottle so I can see their whole body and the machine that they're on, or the weights that they're using, or whatever they're using. And I can literally train them in their gym. And what I found amazing about that is they can, when they're not with me, they can then make the most of their gym membership rather than being scared of certain parts of the gym or unsure about certain pieces of equipment. Or a lot of women I take on have gym anxiety.
Yes.
And I got my first American client through online networking. And it was turning up consistently and just going, I'm a face-to-face person. I'm here to learn about business. And that's it. And I was just honest. I wasn't there to sell. My pitch was awful, but because I showed up at the same meetings every single week, and I was just like, "Hi, I'm Natalie. This is my business. This is what I do. Right now, business is really slow because my business is completely face to face. This is kind of my message." And I'm looking to expand my network so I can get that message across to more people, grow my social. So when I do go back into the gym, hopefully more people will know me and my business will grow faster this time around. And instead I was getting people messaging me going, can you just train me online? And I'm like, well, it's no different to me training a British person online. Sure. And then can we go into the gym? Okay, let's do that. And then now that's my entire business. Like,
so
most of my business now is in America, and it's women going into the gym.
Oh my God. I love Natalie, y'all. And I love her story. I mean, like, she is being very modest. There's a whole other side she has not told us yet. I'm gonna let her tell us in just a second. But not to get totally off track. But we met in a networking group. in a women's networking group that was pulling in people from all over the world. And that's how we first met. And now we're like progressed. And now we're in another mastermind group together. And I'm like, yay, I get to keep some of my international friends. And it's just so powerful, literally, because we're connected online, whether it's through Facebook or LinkedIn. We support each other, like, hey, we ask questions, and it's as if we've been in person. If we've never met in person, I can't wait till we do. It's going to be my excuse to travel, right? But it's so powerful. And one of the things you just said that really hits home, because again, it's another one of those things I stress, is about being authentic and about being real. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Here I am. This is what I do. And we're just going to go with the flow.
But sometimes that's life, isn't it?
Sometimes that's life. And when we do that and we take all of those, what's the word? All those kind of, I'm not finding the right words, but when we take those conditions off of where we're like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. It's like all of that was just blown to smithereens, the last couple of years. And being adaptable and being willing to be flexible and to be curious and explore new things. Like, here we are. And now Natalie officially has an international training business, personal training business as a result.
It's amazing. And can I share the story of how I got into the networking group that we met in?
Yes. Please do.
In 2020, like I said, I was doing less hours working. So I wanted to fill those hours with networking. My husband works 9 till 5. So I thought, right, in the day, I am going to network. And what I found out very quickly is, in the US, you got most of your guys networking is in your working hours, so it's in the day. Where here, most of ours is in the evening, so it's outside of your working hours. And I was like, well, my husband's at home, he works 9 till 5. I don't really want to work evenings if I don't have to. So I started jumping on more and more networking calls that were US based. And I met a woman, I met her through Facebook initially, and then we ended up on the same call together. And this was at the end of 2020. And she went, oh, how are you getting on with networking? And I said to her, at the moment, I'm actually really bored and I'm not enjoying it. And I'm not sure what it is, because I know networking has grown my business. It's saved my business. Mm-hmm. And I know it's allowed me to keep earning money, because let's face it, we've still got bills to pay. Right. Know. So, and she went, okay, why do you think that is? And I didn't know. And then in the new year, in 2021, she messaged me and she said, I think it's because you're not networking with your people, and you've learned and you've grown, and you now need to elevate your networking experience, but with the right audience. And I was like, I never even considered it, because it wasn't something that was ever talked about in the groups that I was in. And I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. And she said to me, there is a new group opening. And I know you really don't want to get involved with a new group if you're not enjoying networking, but I promise you, this is an all women's network. Your ideal client is in this group. This is going to be your audience. I promise you, this is going to change the way you feel about networking. They're going to do 10 days as a launch, do the free launch and see. And I did the launch and I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And all the networking I'd done up until that point was free as well. So this would have been first paid network. And I was like, I went for a walk and I was thinking to myself, right, I would rather pay this money for this quarter and try than feel as stuck as what I'm feeling right now. I was going on to networking calls, sitting there thinking, why am I here? This is awful. Why am I here? And it was that feeling constantly. It wasn't, I'm having a bad day. It was constantly coming up and coming up and coming up. And then when I got into the group where I met you, she was right. Everything changed.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with networking again. And that hasn't gone. And that was March 2021. So it's been a year, and I still love networking now, but I'm very picky on where I network now. Because obviously I've learned even more over the past year from speaking to people like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, so let's dig into that, because that is one of those things I don't think people understand, because conventional wisdom is go to this event, pass out a bunch of business cards. Well, all of that got blown away in the pandemic. So then people are like, well, what do we do? So they're trying to transfer that horrible networking practice to online, and doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. So because the focus is about, well, I need to meet X number of people, and focusing on quantity versus quality. And that's what you're talking about. You're like, when you're approaching it based on, well, I need to meet a certain number of people, as opposed to the quality of the people that you're meeting, and whether there is some direct connection and something to help build a relationship on, it is completely a different thing. And the other thing you pointed out, being willing to invest in yourself and pay for the experience that you want and need. That is game changer. And not a lot of people are willing to do that.
Yeah, it definitely, I thought in 2020, I thought my business had done very well. But for me, I would say my business was surviving through the pandemic. As when I invested in this group, my self-development and my business then started to thrive rather than just survive. That's how I would describe it.
I love that. I love that. And it's that thing where people, you know, again, when I'm just sitting out there and I'm talking about it, it's because they think, oh, you're just talking about, again, connecting up with people. But it's so much more than that. It's about building relationships. And when you do that, and then you're leveraging those relationships to get to the next level, so that whatever it is you're trying to do, whether it's build a business or build a career, you're able to do it and to tap into those relationships. And again, focus on the quality of them rather than quantity of them. Because you can know 50 people, but it'd be completely worthless, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You don't want that feeling of frustration. So what is it that, what's been your greatest networking challenge? It sounds like it may overlap with something you've already said, but tell me if there's something else.
Oh, my greatest challenge for networking was definitely learning where to network and how to find the right networking groups for me. When I first started online networking, it was a case of, right, which ones fit in my calendar? I'll go for 4 weeks and then I'll drop the ones that I'm not enjoying. But it was a meeting of convenience. Then 2021 came, I was hating networking, and I was like, right, okay, these are my people, this is who I have to network to, but how do I find them? So I think that's the biggest challenge. How do you, once you recognize who your audience is, how do you then find where they're hanging out in terms of networking?
Yeah.
And that's the same as social media, right? Where do your audience hang out on social media?
Yeah.
Everywhere. Well, yeah, but where?
Right, because we all have like 1,000 groups that we're a part of, but how many of them are we actually active in? Right.
Exactly.
It's that piece. And I love that. One of the other things you just said that's implied here is you did the work of evaluating what you were doing. You were reflecting on it. Again, another one of those key pieces is like, you have to actively think about, what am I doing here? Why is this not working? Because you were determined to move forward. It may not have been like, okay, but I love networking so much, I got to keep doing this. But it was I know this is a tool that can help me with my business. And that's that piece, and doing that homework and we're sitting and reflecting on that is so powerful. So powerful.
I knew that networking was the way forward for me. I just didn't understand how to maximize it. And once I learned that, sky's the limit.
Yes.
I get
that.
I am active on all social media channels. I have an email list. I, have people who I know from gyms, from working in gyms for the past 17 years. And I probably get maybe one lead a month out of my socials. And I am consistently active on all of my socials. Probably get one lead a month on my socials. I get 2 to 3 new clients a month out of networking. Like paying clients.
Yes.
Rather than just a lead.
Yes. That's powerful. That's so powerful. It's those relationships, because it makes it easier it just makes it easier. When people are sharing things word of mouth, or like, hey, I heard about this, here's someone, go check her out. It's the same thing, but you got to be intentional about it. And you can't get there if you're not putting the work in to build the relationships that will feed that. Yeah.
And the other thing that I love about networking is, if you've got a question, if you've come against a problem, if you are feeling beaten and defeated by your business, because we all have those days, if you need something, you can just go, this is my network. And you might own it, you might be a part of 3 or 4, but you have one that that you're a little bit safer in, if you like. And I can go into that group and I can go, I think Monday I went in and I said, guys, I'm looking for a VA. This is what I'm looking for specifically, nothing else. And then I had 2-3 people go, not me, I know someone, here's her email address, boom, boom, boom. I needed help. People from all over the world message me, just goes, this person can help you, give these an email. And I'm like, this is so amazing, because if I didn't have that network, if I didn't have that relationship with those people in that network, that could have taken weeks or maybe never.
Yep. That's the point I keep trying. I was like, you can work. It seems so trite, but it's that whole thing of work smarter, not harder. And your relationships truly can do it. I know, excuse me, when people come to me asking for help with their career transitions, and they're like, oh, I need to go, put out all of these applications and resumes. I'm like, that's not how I operate. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're not going to do that. And they're like, well, how am I going to find? I'm like, I need you to give me a list of the people you know.
Yeah.
And they're like, how is that going to help? I'm like, trust me, let's work this out. Yes. And when they're like, oh my gosh. And I have a client now who's come back to me. She's like, I don't know why I didn't think about this before. Yes, let's do this. Because getting someone who could just pass out paper, that's one thing. But when you can tap into people you know and say, hey, Natalie, I'm in the midst of this transition. I need help finding these types of things. Who do you know? And voila, you end up with 5 leads in your email box that you never would even thought of or had access to. And they're real leads, they're real connections that are based on relationships. So all that whole, we know this trust, trust factor is instantly gained because of the relationship that you already have with someone.
Yeah. And you're not wasting time going 10 messages back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth.
Right.
For the other person to just go, oh, I can't afford you now. Or actually, no, this isn't going to work. Or, oh, that person's £10 cheaper or $20 cheaper. I'm just going to do that. You haven't got, all of that is gone. It's gone. Yep. Because the person in your network doesn't come to you until they're ready. And they don't ask you waste of time questions because they've spent time getting to know you already. So their questions are getting answered. You just don't realize it.
Yep.
It's great. Love it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So we talked about your challenge. What is your favorite networking strategy?
Go a bit deeper with the question.
So just like, what is your favorite tip or thing that you've learned that you think has really helped you with building out your relationships? Like, what's that thing that just like, ooh, I really like doing this when it comes to trying to help me build my relationships stronger?
Okay. Don't go to a networking meeting with your sales hat on. Go into every meeting with your market research hat on.
Nice.
As a business owner, we wear multiple hats. What I come across is that if you go in with your sales hat on, everybody can smell it. Everybody can see it. And it puts people off. You go in with your market research hat on, everybody warms to you. The atmosphere is completely different and your relationships grow so much faster.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Because it's that whole thing of like, again, are you going for quantity or are you going for quality? If you're only going for the dollar, then people know it's very surface level, as opposed to if you take time to actually engage in some conversation, you can go to something. I tell people all the time, I could go to, and I hate happy hours, right? So that's one thing. I'm a networking specialist and I detest happy hours, but that doesn't mean I don't go to happy hours, when they were very popular. I just went with them with intention and very deliberate.
Yes.
It's about going, knowing that, okay, this person's going to be there. My goal is to try and meet up with them, or I'm going to go identify, 3 or 4 people that I can follow up with afterwards, not get 30 or 40 business cards. Right.
Yes.
And that's a totally different mindset when you go in with the intention of saying, who can I come out of here and start a relationship with, versus who can I go in and who can I get business out of?
Yes, absolutely. So powerful.
Yes. Major change. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now is the time for Natalie to do a little bragging on herself. I am not going to let you get by without telling. So Natalie, so modest, is a world-class, make sure I don't use right, but like award-winning weightlifting?
Powerlifting.
I knew I was going to use the wrong word. Powerlifting. And I have been watching her online with all these, it's so fascinating. So tell us about your powerlifting experience, because you've been continuing to do that while creating and your business online and strengthening it. And tell me how that has fit into all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a powerlifter for Team GB. So I represent the country.
Yeah.
And my training and my health takes up a lot of time. So that's got to be taken into consideration when it comes to business and when it comes to growing the business. I can't just, drop a training day because a client needs me. I can't do that, because I have to set those boundaries and put myself first in terms of that. Otherwise I'll never get anywhere. And then last year I got to the World Championships in Poland and I won 3 gold medals.
Yes.
I won a Best Lifters Trophy and I broke 2 world records.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then a month later, I went to the British Championships and I got silver.
Yes, I'm so excited. I was like, there was a whole group of us. We were like, yay, Natalie, she had a whole cheer section. She didn't even know it online.
Yeah. And bringing this back to networking, when I have a competition coming up and it comes to my 60 seconds in networking, I say to people, right now, I've got a competition coming up in the next couple of weeks. So right now I'm not taking on any new business. I will happily help you or answer your questions. This is what I do. But right now I'm not launching anything. I'm not promoting anything, because here I've got to get ready to compete. My business is just running with current clients and I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'm not taking on any work. And that right there gets me so much business, because after my competition, people come back to me and they go, how did your competition go? And I talk to them and they're like, how did you get into it? Well, this. Oh my God, I would love to learn how to do that. Can you teach me how to do that? And they've got no intention of doing it competitively, but they want to feel that kind of power within themselves. Yes. And I pick up so much business like that just by being completely honest and saying, guys, this is my priority for the next few weeks. So this is it.
Yeah, that is so awesome. Again, so much richness there. But when people are like, you're being honest, you're being authentic, like this is the other part of what I do. And I can't service you well right now because I've got to focus on this. Yeah. And you're right. People are like drawn like magnets to that because they appreciate you being honest and open. And then it creates all that curiosity about, well, wait, what are you doing? And again, this feeds into your expertise. It's like, this is not some little hokey dokey little personal trainer over here. You got a world-class powerlifter, award-winning powerlifter training you. I love it. I love it.
What I find comes up a lot with that is when my clients are feeling something and they're like, oh, I'm feeling a niggle here or discomfort here, I can say to them, okay, when I'm lifting, this is what I feel for. When I'm lifting and I feel this is what helps me. I'm not saying this is going to help you because our bodies are very different. However, try this and see if that feels better. And 9 times out of 10, it does. And that's because I'm not taking my education, I'm taking my personal experience and going, I've tried this, why don't you just try it? If it doesn't work, we'll look for something else. Yes. And people really respond to that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is so great. This has been awesome. I'm so glad we finally got to get together to do this. We're going to have to schedule another one. I don't know. We'll make up something to talk about, something else to talk about. But I'm so glad you've joined us here, Natalie. So tell me, as we get ready to close out for this coffee chat, what is one piece of advice that you would give to someone who's, a little tepid about, getting in or really taking ownership of their networking and relationship building skills? What piece of advice would you offer to someone?
If you're nervous about going into a networking meeting, then that's okay. Own it and just be honest. Just say, I'm really new to networking and I'm still working on my messaging. I'm here to learn how this works. And if you are ready to get in and you're not really nervous about it, then just say it as it is. Just say, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is where I need help, or this is what I'm looking for from this group. Just own it and be honest, because you'll repel some people and you'll attract some people, but you won't have anybody on the fence. Yes. And you don't want people on the fence. You want people who are going to engage with you and people who are never going to be your client. You want one or the other. You don't want people on the fence because that's a waste of everybody's time.
Yes. Absolutely. Wise words. Yes. Thank you once again, Natalie. Before I forget, tell us where people can connect up with you. What's your preferred method of connecting up so that we can have folks who want to reach out or follow your wonderful work and or get engaged with you?
Yeah, so I hang out mainly on Instagram and it's at NH Personal Training. If you're not really interested in the coaching side, but you want to watch my lifting journey and you want to watch me fail lifts, get trapped under a bar, anything like that, then TikTok is the place where all of that happens. And my TikTok is at NHPT.
Okay. Perfect. And we will get all of that in the notes so that you can follow Natalie, and just so glad to be here. Thank you all once again for joining us for Coffee Time. And I'm looking forward to following up with so many of you. If you have any questions, just hit us up in the DM or in the comments below. And we look forward to sharing with you again next time on Coffee Time Career Chat. Bye-bye.